Hi, I'm Lily.
And I'm Sophie.
And welcome to the Keeping Tabs podcast hosted by the Princeton Public Library's Teen Advisory Board.
We interview authors to learn more about the writing process.
Today we are here with Gabriella Lepore, the author of the YA mystery books This Is Why We Lie and The Last One to Fall, which was released this May. Gabriella Lepore has also written 3 YA fantasy series, the Phoenix Holt series, the Witches of the Glass Castle series, and the Blackheath Witches series, as well as the YA paranormal standalones How I Found You, Evanescent, and Friday's List. Gabriella Lepore's upcoming mystery novel, Bad Like Us, is set to be released in 2024. Hello, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, everyone.
So we're just going to get right into it then. We love that both of your mystery novels have 2 main protagonists and that the main protagonists develop really close relationships with each other. How do you craft 2 fully realized main characters to tell a story thoroughly?
I think for me, I just really enjoyed, especially with these characters, I really connected with these characters in The Last One to Fall. I mean, I guess you always do when you're writing a book, but just immersing myself in that world and really daydreaming about them and kind of making up scenes that never even went into the books and that kind of thing. And hopefully that helped to help them jump off the page, I guess.
Yes, they definitely did. That phrase perfectly encapsulates my experience reading the book because the characters really did jump off the page. Yeah.
I'm glad you feel that way.
Oh my gosh, me too. It was so fun to read. Oh my gosh. And also, I'm struck by how believable the relationships between your protagonists are and how much chemistry they have with each other. Because in your 2 mystery books, the 2 main characters might or might not have a romance. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but maybe. So how do you craft organic relationship development between the protagonists in your mystery novels?
So I think it's, again, probably just enjoying their journey together. So their journey separately in the story and how they come together and how they're able to sort of benefit each other as they're going through the story and better each other maybe. And yeah, just really enjoying that journey as a separate aspect to obviously the horrors of what happened in the books, being a murder mystery, and yeah, again, hopefully that's something that's come through, and I certainly enjoy doing it.
Yes, I love that so much because I do love that their journeys serve each other and that both characters help the other one grow. It's so beautiful to read.
Oh, thank you.
So we've also noticed that your protagonists are related to your mysteries in really unique ways. How do you determine the relationship that your main character will have to the mystery that you've crafted?
With both books, it was probably, I'd say, having them be connected to it in some way, be it through their friends or something that, without giving too much away, that they've experienced with the victim, and having that kind of thread through just help them have a slight connection to the mystery, but also be distant enough that they could kind of go on the outskirts of it and build on their other friendships and their other relationships that are also connected to the mystery, and tie in together and cross and weave throughout with the 2 different friendship groups. For anyone that hasn't read the book, they often have 2 different friendship groups with each protagonist and dual point of view kind of thing.
I love that because it makes your main characters stick out so much more than if they were like the victim's best friend or something where it's a little bit too close and it kind of consumes them. I love that they're like just in the right place where it's not derailing their lives completely, but like it affects them. It's a really beautiful placement there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. And I also love that your protagonists do not set out to be detectives. Like they are linked to the mystery in some way and they want the case to be solved, but they're too caught up in dealing with the fallout of the mystery to launch a fully fledged investigation. It is such a unique quality that your mystery protagonists do not have to be detectives for readers to care about them and want everything to work out for them. So, how do you write a non-detective protagonist sort of reacting to the mystery rather than outright trying to solve it in a way that is compelling to read and even more memorable than if the characters were trying to be detectives from the beginning?
Personally, I really enjoyed their journey and their growth, and they kind of all grow a bit through being part of the mystery, and not, like you say, kind of not being directly with the detectives, we're going to solve this, but having to grow and having to adapt to the fact that maybe the spotlight is on them, or perhaps the police might be looking their way, and they have to figure out who they can trust and why they can trust these people. And I just really enjoyed being part of, or how, I suppose, developing them as characters as they went along through the story, and using the mystery as sort of a reason for them to have to level up, I guess.
That is so cool to hear, the mystery being the reason for them to level up. Like, I feel like I haven't read many books where the mystery actually helps the people to grow instead of like turning them into horrible people. So it's really kind of heartwarming to read your books.
Oh.
On a different end than heartwarming, how do you create a cast of characters where everyone is equally capable of having committed the murder?
Oh, um, I love it. Make everyone a suspect, and have everyone have their own reason why they could have done it, or they could not have done it, and just kind of throw everyone in. And kind of, I think when I was writing, I was almost a little bit coming up with things as I went along. Like maybe somebody in the first draft didn't have motive, but by the final draft, it was like, oh, hang on, but they could have done this and they could have done that. And it was just fun to kind of make everyone slightly suspicious, to make a question mark over everyone.
I love that. My favorite books are the books where I'm like, I like you, but I don't know if I should like you. And that's me with pretty much all your characters.
Oh, good. I'm glad. No, I love
Yeah.
that. I love those books where it's like you really don't know who you want to trust, let alone who you can trust.
Yes, exactly. I love it. And also going into character motivations, I love how believable all of your characters' motivations are. I believe why each character likes or dislikes another character to the point where I want to trust everything the characters are saying to each other because all of their relationships make sense. I'm like, no, I definitely believe that you like that guy, so you wouldn't have killed him. So, how do you write character motivations and complex character dynamics that change over the course of the story in such a believable way that like swindles your readers, kind of?
Oh, swindles. I love that word as well. I, I think just what I really tried to do when I was writing it is to have everyone kind of tell the truth, like maybe slight lies within the truth, but to have everyone have really honest responses with each other. So even the culprit, kind of trying to put myself in their shoes of how they would respond, and how they would kind of be telling it like it is of what happened, but omitting some details, if that makes sense. So just have everyone be really as honest as possible, because they're talking to their friends, and I guess they don't want to be overtly lying. And I don't know, maybe just having so much truth in there has helped them be a little bit more believable with their stories.
Definitely. I didn't even realize, but it's true. Everybody in your books, they're generally pretty honest. So that's why it's really shocking when they tell the type of lie where they're omitting details, but they're not overtly lying. Like that's really cool because I didn't even think of it that way, but that's why everything's so honest in your books. That's really cool. And also, when I was reading The Last One to Fall, again, I believed everything the characters were saying to each other. So I couldn't figure out who committed the murder because I honestly didn't want any of them to be lying. So, how do you craft dialogue between suspects in a way that is simultaneously realistic, but it's also interesting to read and it disguises who the killer is, even when the killer is talking?
I suppose just coming back to that thing of them just being as real as possible, as sort of authentic as possible with their friends, with the way that they would talk, and kind of thinking about how they would truly react, of how they're going to cover their tracks, and what they can hold back and what information they have to put forward. The whole truth thing again, you know, giving little bits, but keeping obviously their big secrets to themselves.
I love that. It's really just so special that your characters are so honest, because it makes the reading experience kind of more trippy in a way, where you're like, why? I don't believe any of you guys could lie to me like this. We're friends here. Like it's so fun though to be lied to. In your
Isn't
book, at least. Yeah. And also, your mysteries are so excellent because not only do you expertly disguise who the killer is while foreshadowing it perfectly, but you also disguise the killer's motivation while foreshadowing it perfectly. So how do you write such complex foreshadowing in a way that leaves readers shocked by your twists, but able to see that the answer was right in front of them the whole time?
So I actually find this really hard because obviously from the start, I know who's done it. So I'm really hyper aware of every time I mention something that could be a clue or drop a little hint. And because in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I have to put this because I don't want the reader to feel too blindsided at the end where they feel like, oh, we didn't even have a chance to figure this out. But I'm also sort of very aware of, oh no, but if I say this here, is that going to give away who's done it? And just trying to really edge these little comments through in the right balance, and hopefully I've got it right, and not many people guess, but they also don't feel too cheated by the end.
I love that. When I was reading The Last One to Fall in particular, when you were kind of unveiling, I won't say what it was, but the killer's motivation, I was like, no, oh my God, I remember when I was reading that the first time and I thought maybe this is something that'll come up later, but I didn't expect it would be like this. So it's like, I was like halfway onto it, but then the way you wrote the motivation was the opposite of what I was thinking, actually. Like it was like a double twist. So I was so pleased. I was like, I'm so glad that I didn't figure this out. It's my favorite thing.
I'm so pleased too, because when I love reading mystery, particularly young adult mystery and thrillers, and I love it when I don't guess. So that would be, I guess, my ultimate goal is just like hoping that people don't guess too early anyway.
Yes, I definitely don't guess too early in your books. I know I'm just one person, but
Thank you.
oh yeah.
So, as someone who usually really doesn't enjoy romance subplots in books that aren't necessarily romantically driven, I really love the way that you integrated a romantic storyline into your mystery books. How do you balance a romance subplot with a main mystery plot in a way that makes both threads equally engaging?
So yeah, kind of like you, I guess, in the I like the subtle romance, but nothing too over the top, I suppose, in mystery books that I read. So I think I just kind of try to go with what I would want to read, and also use the romance to raise the stakes a bit. So with our male and the female protagonists in The Last One's Fall, This Is Why We Lie, having their possible romance being something that made just made things a bit more complicated for them, and made them want to figure this out because they have feelings for the other person, and they hope that, oh, it's hard, isn't it, because I don't want to give anything away, but let's just say raising the stakes.
Yes. Every time there's a romance in any mystery book, I'm always like, I really hope that the other person doesn't turn out to be someone really bad. And so when reading your books, I love that there's that added tension where you're like, gosh, these characters work so well together, but who can we trust? Like, I
Who I
love it. And also, while your mysteries are character focused, they're really compelling and impossible to put down. So how do you write a character focused story in such a compelling way?
Oh, well, I really appreciate you saying that. And I'm really glad you feel that way. And I really was just, it's so hard because I think books are so subjective, aren't they? And what works for one person might not work for another person. So I just kind of went with what I found interesting and what I wanted to read, if that makes sense. And I just really enjoyed writing these characters and following along with their journey and using that as well as the mystery, of course, but connecting with them as the author. And I think it's just what I wanted to read at the time. So it kind of flowed in that way. And I'm glad you found that too.
I love that because you saying you connect with the characters, I connect with the characters in your stories too. So it's cool that it's like on both ends, there's character connection.
So pleased.
So obviously it's really difficult to write multiple genres of books because you have to look at it from a different standpoint for each kind of book, and it's really impressive that you've been able to cross multiple genres so seamlessly. So how does writing mystery books compare to writing YA, fantasy, and paranormal books? And which do you like more?
Okay, so I started writing paranormal around like 2009, 2010, when it was really at the height. Like there was a lot of paranormal books around, and I loved that. And I think they were, obviously there's so much more you can do in the realm of possibility, like, you know, things that couldn't really happen. And I think my paranormals were definitely more whimsical, maybe. And then as I read more thrillers and mysteries, I just naturally gravitated towards it. And I really enjoyed kind of going into darker, more contemporary, grittier way of writing. And although I've tried to kind of go back and try and do a little bit of fantasy writing here and there, I think right now I'm just so settled on the style of mystery and thriller that I feel really comfortable in that at the moment. That's not to say I wouldn't go back to paranormal at some point, but it definitely brought out a different tone. And I like the realistic feel of the mysteries at the moment.
I'm so glad because I want to read all of the mystery books you write. So I'm glad that you are, at least at this point, wanting to continue writing them.
Yeah.
Yes. And I have an unscripted question for you, which is, what is your favorite mystery book? Like, give us a recommendation.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, so I love Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I really liked Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I've recently read Tell Me What Really Happened, which has come out quite.
Tell Me What Really Happened.
I could not put it down. I absolutely loved it. I raced through it. In the adult thriller, The Guest List I think it's by Lucy Foley. The Guest List was absolutely amazing. I don't know if you've read that, but it's just really, really good. What else have I read recently? I'm just looking at my bookcase here if there's something jumps. And then it's just gone through so many mysteries, and there's just the mystery genre and thriller genre is just so good at the moment. I don't know if you felt the same way. There's just so many books coming out that are just, you can't put them down. What else is I'm just trying to think of the name of one that was kind of totally different style, but again, I couldn't put it down. I think it's How to Survive Your Own Murder.
Oh my gosh, I love that book. I love that book. Danielle Valentine. Yes, I'm such a fan. It's so good.
I put it down. So yeah, I'd say they're some of my top recommendations at the moment. And if I think of any more, I'll have to email you because I've got so many that I love.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you like How to Survive a Murder and tell me what really happened, because I'm totally with you there.
Tell me what really happened. It just blew my mind. And it's the first book I've read by that author, and I need to get everything she's ever written now.
Yes, I highly recommend The 100 Lies of Lizzie Levitt, which is her
Oh,
first book. Oh my gosh, it is so good. I read Tell Me What Really Happened first, and then I went back to read her first book, and it was a great experience.
okay, I'm going to do the same, right?
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
getting.
I'm so glad.
We always love getting recommendations from everyone we interview. It's so fun. Everyone really appreciates them. So I'll add those to my list too.
Oh, okay.
And your upcoming release, Bad Like Us, will be released next year. Can you tell us anything about it?
Yes, I have the back of the cover blurb here. So I'll just read that to you.
Awesome.
Okay. Two friend groups collide over spring break at a private beach lodge. Old flames are rekindled and new flames are snuffed out. When someone turns up dead, Eva can't even trust her best friends, but she thinks she can trust Colton. So basically, a group of friends, well, two different friend groups, they go on like a weekend away to this really remote kind of cabin on the coast. And I don't know how much I can say, but somebody winds up dead, and again, everyone has a motive.
I'm so excited. I'm losing my mind at that description and the cover. I'll find a way to put the cover on the screen if someone's watching the video, because the cover is so beautiful. So I'm very excited to read it.
It's also now, it's just gone live on NetGalley. So it's out March 2024, and it's available on NetGalley now for sort of like arcs and that kind of thing. So yeah.
I know what I'm doing when I'm done with the interview. I'm gonna go request it, of course. Oh my gosh. And also, are there any other projects you're working on that you can tell us more about, or is it Bad Like Us is the main thing for now?
Yeah, so I am just finishing up. So Bad Like Us will be out March 2024, and then the following year I have a book scheduled, and it's again another YA thriller, and I'm literally working on some final edits for it at the moment, and so I love it. And it's kind of it's ice hockey themed, this one, which has been really fun because it's just a genre that I'm really loving at the moment. So yeah, that will be out the following year, and I'll keep you updated with stuff like final title and cover and that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. So it's a couple of years coming up.
We are excited for you and to read the books. And I have one more question, which is, I think This Is Why We Lie and The Last One to Fall take place in beach towns. So was there an inspiration behind that? And then is there an inspiration behind the ice hockey shift, or is it just that's what you're enjoying at the moment?
So the beach towns was always because I grew up and currently live quite close to sort of very, very rough beaches, not the kind of more like the abandoned beaches with rocks, and I just find them so spooky and so eerie, especially in the winter when the sky is really stormy and that kind of thing. And I find that really inspiring for the subject of thrillers and mysteries. So pretty much all my books have some connection to, or all the thrillers have some connection to coastal areas, except this one that will be coming out in 2025, and that is that's just a slightly different setting. And the reason I went for I don't know why I went for the ice hockey theme on that one. I think maybe just like you say, it was just kind of inspiring to me when I started writing it, and I have really enjoyed that. And I think I'll probably go back to a coastal town for my book after. Yeah, mix it up a bit.
Cool. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Is there any social media you want to plug? Any other book recommendations? Any recommendations in general about anything?
Okay, well, my Instagram is Gabriella Lepore, but Gabriella Lepore _books. The TikTok is my_life_in_books, I think. And book recommendations. Oh, okay. Just trying to think what I've read that's I'm going to stick with my top one. My top two being, as we discussed, Tell Me What Really Happened and The Guest List. I think they're my top two recommendations for today. And I will keep thinking if any more come to mind.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, this was
Thank
so
you for having me. It's been lovely talking to you, meeting you, and I love your pages, and I think you guys are so fantastic. So
Thank you.
work. I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. That concludes today's interview with Gabriella Lepore. I loved hearing her talk about how she wants to make all of her characters as honest as possible and have the killer really only be lying by omission. That made it so much more clear to me why I just always want to trust her characters, and I see them as inherently trustworthy even though they're in a mystery novel and they're supposed to be suspicious. I also loved hearing her talk about how she uses the romance in her books to raise the stakes for the main characters and to help the main characters progress forward on their journeys of personal growth even faster, and how she likes to have her main characters really help each other become better people. Gabriella Lepore's mystery books have this element of heart to them that I just really love. So hearing her talk about how she wants her love interests and her main characters to help each other grow, I just really love that. I cannot wait to read Bad Like Us when it comes out on March 5th. I will be including the link to where you can pre-order Bad Like Us below. I will also be including links to all of Gabriella Lepore's books, places where you can buy them, and the place where you can check out her books at the library. I will also be including links to all of her amazing book recommendations, as well as the book that I recommended down below. I will also link all of Gabriella Lepore's social media, as well as our social media. Feel free to follow us on Instagram at keeping.tabs.podcast, follow us on TikTok at keepingtabspodcast, follow us on Spotify, subscribe to our YouTube, or write a review of us on Apple Podcasts. All of those links will be down below. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and we hope to see you soon with a new one. Bye!